What is up, MMA True Believers? I am Jason Burgos for Sherdog.com, and with me tonight is a 14-year veteran of combat sports. He's an Ultimate Fighter alum, a veteran of both the UFC and Glory Kickboxing. Currently, he's a member of the PFL roster and will be featured on a new episode of the League series called Prep Point, and that man is Chris Camozzi. Chris, thanks so much for the time tonight.
Man, thank you. You're my new hype man. That was a great intro.
I'm glad you like it. I always aim to please with the intros. Now, I have so many questions for you now. So the first thing is, you were part of this recent influx of talent the league brought in for this season that was unfortunately postponed until next year. Now, before we get into all that craziness, I wanted to get your thoughts on what made you join the league in the first place. Before we get into, I know you've mostly done the kickboxing, especially with Glory in the last couple of years, more so than MMA. Was the draw to the PFL like the $1 million prize? Was it just the chance to get back into a major MMA promotion again? Was it the league's format where wins and losses pretty much decide matchmaking? Or kind of was it all of the above?
It was a lot of the above, but man, I'll tell you that $1 million sounds real good. No, but I mean, the PFL, I've watched the last couple of seasons. I like the format. I love the tournament, man. I think I'm built for tournaments. I don't take a lot of injuries. I get banged up, but, man, I'm usually back in the gym 1 week after fighting. My body heals super quick, so I think tournaments work out well for me. And, yeah, that $1 million. But just the way they treat their fighters, I've had friends fight in the division. They seem to treat everybody really well, and so far, man, my experience with them has been awesome. Communication, everything. They've been keeping us updated. They're paying us a stipend. I couldn't be happier with them. So I think I made the right choice. And plus, being on ESPN, there's so many good things about it. And, I'm just super happy to be a part of this next one.
Now, and I'm glad that's good to hear that the relationship is good, because it's been tough for a lot of for people in the league that are still contractually kind of obligated to the league and not able to do a lot of other things, So, like, in that way, how has the last, bunch of months, because of what's going on in the league getting postponed, and the last time you fought, it's been around 9 months, as I can tell, that you've been able to compete, and you've kind of been on a forced hiatus. What has that been like financially for you? Has it been a type of situation like some people in the league maybe forced them to go get a job they didn't expect to get? Are you, as a longtime veteran, you were wise to that years ago, and you've already set yourself up where income outside of fighting has you pretty comfortable, so it's not like a tough time on the bank account? Like, what has the situation been for you, like the last 9 months, without being able to compete?
Yeah, I mean, it's been tough for me just like everybody else, but honestly, dude, I'm a hustler, man. I always have been. I'm always doing something else. Even when I was in the UFC, I was making great money. I was still working, doing things. I owned my own business for a long time. Now, I have a full-time day job. That's great. So I'm always doing something, man. I can't sit around all day. I always worked in training. I've trained full-time, but then I also work. I'm always doing things, training people. I'm all over the place every day. I like to be busy. So, like I said, there hasn't been no struggle, but I'm always busy. I'm finding something. I find a way. I'm a survivor.
Was talking of your full-time job. What is the full-time job? And did the pandemic, wherever you live, affect your job, the training at some point too, where it's like, okay, I can't fight, but damn, I can't even do these jobs either right now?
No, I mean, COVID definitely didn't affect my job. So my job,
okay.
Let's see, how do I word it here? Yeah, I was told how I could word it. So I do security for a government defense contractor. So
all right.
Obviously,
fair enough.
Obviously, they stay busy year-round, so not affected by COVID. And I'm thankful for that job, and it's a great job. I get benefits, everything, and they keep me busy. So no worry there. And just training and working. That's about it. Sometimes it's a blessing with some of this. I was saying in a previous interview that my body has never felt better. I'm actually in better shape now than I was before COVID, before I ever have been in my career. Because taking that time off from training, I was just running and lifting and doing what I could. And my body had a chance to heal, from getting my neck pulled on, getting arm barred in jiu-jitsu and everything else. My body's never felt better. So I get out of bed like a 33-year-old, not like a 65-year-old now. And I can go run. My knees don't hurt. So it was a blessing in disguise in one way. Like, if I'm being optimistic about it, I've never taken that much time off the mat. I think I took like a full month of not training and just working out. And now I've been focusing on a bunch of strength and power stuff because I've got time. With the PFL and season format, I know when I'm going to fight. So it gives me an opportunity to work things that I want to work rather than training and waiting for a call where I might fight next month. So it's been great.
And it's interesting. And one, it's good to hear that you were one of the people that are getting the stipends, because I heard from Lance Palmer, he's heard that wasn't the case for everybody, or maybe different amounts. But also, I was planning to ask you, was there some frustration on the level of not getting to compete and maybe, you know, talking to PFL, maybe offering, you know, adding an addendum to your contract? Hey, let me go compete in Glory Kickboxing. I won't do MMA. I'll do something like that. But considering now that what you said, maybe was that really not an option? Like now you say it, like the time away really was a blessing, and this really worked out better. So there isn't even that frustration, like, oh, at least I could have did kickboxing or something.
You know, PFL has been awesome for me. I've had nothing but good things to say about them and dealing with them. It's in my contract that I can fight for Glory. Obviously, Glory, I'm still contracted with Glory too.
Okay.
But, you know, they're not traveling guys either. So there's not a lot of fights going on. You know, I've thrown out ideas of boxing, stuff like that to stay busy. I love fighting. I enjoy it. I would do it if I was rich. If I was Lance sitting on $2 million, I'd still be fighting. So you know, so far I've had great communications with them, and they haven't told me no for anything. So I'll keep looking. You know, like I said, I wouldn't mind doing bare knuckle. I wouldn't mind doing boxing. I just enjoy fighting. So if they'll allow me to do that between now and the next season, I'm in.
And what's crazy too is that they're one of the major leagues that aren't really going. Yeah, we know the league's postponed and all these other ones are coming up, but it's kind of been radio silence from them for the most part. And a lot of people are surprised that they haven't even thrown out the idea, you know, one-off fall events or winter events or something like that. And I've talked to fighters that kind of wonder, you know, they'd like that. And we've, like I mentioned, Lance Palmer's frustration. Ali Isaev, the heavyweight champion, came out, his frustration of not getting compete. Are you at least a little surprised at some level you haven't heard some kind of rumblings like, okay, guys, you know, we're going to give you the chance to make some bigger money than these stipends. We're thinking about a fall. We're thinking about a November event. You know, something like that hasn't come out?
Not really. You know, I think it's a smart business move, honestly, because with the current climate of the world, we don't know what's going to happen. There's a lot of money and logistics that go into planning a show.
True.
So for them to say, hey, we're going to do a one-off in December, nobody knows what December is going to look like right now. You know, these are unprecedented times, and they could lose a ton of money if they put all this work and effort into it and then say COVID kicks up even more and everything's shut down. So I get it. I mean, I've owned a business. I get it from a business standpoint. It's a giant risk. And, you know, how big is the reward? Not everybody's the UFC where they're sitting on location, property, islands, and stuff like that. So I can't fault them for it. You know, obviously I would love to fight. I'm frustrated that I haven't fought forever, but I'm not frustrated at them. You know, they have no control over this. Nobody does. This is unforeseen global pandemic. So I get it.
And it's good to hear that, you know, a positivity on the relationship with the league. Because a lot of people, like I mentioned, some are upset and stuff like that. It's good to hear that positive thing. So in that case, talk to me a bit about Prep Point and working on that. Is that kind of almost, despite the weirdness of the whole situation everybody's going through, that's been some nice even icing on the cake on what has been a good relationship with the league? And also just the chance to kind of tell your personal combat sports journey in that kind of format. Like, give me the experience of being on something like that, focused on you. And you're not just a part of it. You are the star of it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. You know, I told them when I signed with them, I said, throw everything you got at me. I like doing this. You know, they set this interview up with you. You know, I enjoy this stuff. Right now, we're not getting a fight, so if I can do interviews, I love it. I like talking to you. I like getting things out there. And I really enjoyed the show that they did. I thought it was really cool because they didn't focus at all on fighting. It was kind of getting to know the guys. And it actually feels good from an athlete standpoint where they set you up with that. They give you a chance to answer some fun questions, tell your story. I think they've done a good job, you know. And, again, I can't fault them for anything. They can't control this, and they're doing their best. And so far, their best for me has been great. They keep throwing things at me, and I'll take them all.
Is there like a little sneak peek you can give us in terms of, you know, I'm sure you've done a lot of interviews over your career, especially being in the UFC media days, but is there something, like you said, because they've delved deeper more into you personally and more as a person instead of just a fighter, is there some things that you were able to talk about on that show that were new things that a lot of people you haven't talked about before with, and maybe therapeutic on some level, deep dive, you know, personal stuff?
We didn't get all like therapy session on it or anything, but no, they were fun questions. I hope they edited mine, because some of the questions they threw at me, it took me, you know, 4 or 5 minutes to answer, I feel like. No, it was just a lot of fun. We were laughing. The show's great. I like it. I think I hope they continue, you know, after they run through all the guys that they have lined up on it. I hope they do another one or transition into something else, because it's fun. Like, just like this interview, you know, you're asking me a little bit different questions, not just the basic, how do you feel kind of thing. And that's what makes interviews fun.
Now, the first fighter featured on the series was Jordan Young. He made the media rounds too before it was aired, specifically mentioned you as a fighter he wants to face in his PFL debut. And he came at it from a point of view like respect. Like, he respected what you've done in combat sports, respects your style. That's why he wants to fight you. A guy that's, you know, for a guy that's been in the fighting, on the fighting stage, in the spotlight like you for 14 years, like I mentioned, do you appreciate when a young, talented fighter like that want to test themselves against you? Does it maybe bother you on some level, like, whoa, kid, you got to work your way up to me or something like that? Or and then what do you think of that particular matchup to start off your eventual PFL run?
I like it. I like them all. You know, I signed up for that tournament ready to fight everybody. I've gone my whole career fighting everybody. I never knew you could say no to the UFC. I took every fight they ever gave me. Now I see guys turning down fights and they're not ready or whatever. There were times I was injured and accepted fights. No, I don't mind it at all. Getting called out is a good thing. I don't feel disrespected by it. You know, going into that fight, if he wants it, he can get it. They can all get it. That's the whole point of the tournament. I'm going in there to fight everybody. So if he wants to be first, that's fine, but I'm going through him.
Now, and this question that came up just because of recent interviews I've done, because of the you've done pretty much developed an extensive kickboxing history now with Glory and stuff like that. But you are an Ultimate Fighter season 11 alum. Another alum from that season is Seth Paczynski. He actually competed for World Lethwei Championship last year. I'm not sure how familiar you are with World Lethwei or Lethwei in general, but okay, as a guy who has done MMA, done kickboxing now, would you have any interest in adding another sport to your resume and competing in Lethwei at some point, maybe after, you know, this PFL season eventually happens, something like that?
Absolutely. I want to do it all. Like I said, boxing, bare knuckle, Lethwei. When I'm done with my career, I want to be happy with everything I did, say I tried it all, and look back on it and just say, like, man, like, that guy fought all over the world. I've already gotten a ton of experiences traveling the world, fighting, doing what I love, and getting paid for it. So I love those opportunities. You know, I'd actually spoke with Lethwei before. I know Seth did it. He called me before he'd taken that fight, and he asked what I thought about it. I was like, do it, man. You know, we only get a short window in this sport, and we're only young once. So when I'm done, old, I want to look back on this and enjoy what I did and be like, man, I got a lot of cool experiences that a lot of people will never get.